my name is Kaylee Hamer, and I am the co-owner of Blue Plover. We are a tech startup company in Nashville, Tennessee, and we focus on hyperlocal information and the syndication of that information to local media companies. And one thing that I have learned through this process is a lot about the investment process and getting funding. And one interesting point that I noticed was the way that relationships played into that process, and how forming relationships with not only colleagues and business partners, but also the way that it affected relationships in my personal life. One way is with my family. I think my family in some ways has some fear associated, because starting a company can be very risky, and my family is very black and white. They're very take the safe route, and so I think that there was a little bit of fear factor built into the fact that I was building my own company. I didn't go, straight from college to a job that was paying X number of dollars, and that can be definitely a little bit scary. And in addition to that, I think that with personal relationships, it can be a challenge to balance time. It can be a challenge to balance your priorities. So you have business and you have your personal relationship, and how do those come together? So one thing I've noticed is that a lot of times when you see a startup company, the people involved are actually people that have known each other in the past, whether it be through a past relationship, whether it be through a friendship from childhood, whatever that may be. And that tight bond can really catalyze the process of a startup company, because you bypass a lot of the mistakes and communication errors that you had earlier on. And so what I found is that actually, ironically enough, for investors, that can actually be a red flag. They see it as a potential closeness that could offer a risk for them if that relationship were to break. And for me, I actually see it the opposite. I see it as a good thing. I see it as a great way to, like I said, catalyze the process, to increase the speed of development, and to really be able to work with people that you know and that you have a good relationship with, to then pass that good relationship on to your clients, your colleagues, and build a great company.
Julie Long, Scout Staffing. We've been in business for 2 years. We specialize in IT and entertainment staffing, along with other industries, and we do full-time placements. In a startup, your relationships are affected, but I think that there's a way to control that, and the way you control that is you make sure that you have your priorities in place, priorities involving your family and your friends, but also with the business. That might look like making sure that you set time aside for yourself and to spend time with your family and friends, making that a priority, but at the same time reaching all of the goals that you set for yourself and the company. So I think being a single parent creates its own set of challenges, but some of those are very great opportunities as well. I think being a single parent for anyone is a very difficult job, but I think planning is very important, also setting goals and being able to attain and reach those goals, but then also having a support system, whether that's your family and friends, or you have a great set of work colleagues that work with you, or your partners that are involved in the business with you. So some of the toughest times this past year, we've had a lot of loss, unexpected loss of a child. We've had some setbacks, and those are very difficult challenges at any point in life. But when you're starting a business, it's certainly very, very challenging. You can't step away for a very long period of time without things kind of being put off. And in a staffing business, that's important to be able to be there. So we've overcome those challenges by just working together and supporting each other and being there to pick up when somebody really needs to take some time off and be with their family or friends. And so once again, I know I've said it several times, but it's very important to have a strong support system that understands your needs as well as what you're trying to do with your business.
So my name is John Chapin. I am a software development consultant working in Ruby and PHP. I've been independent for the past 6 months. I've worked in the business for 15 years. I embarked on a lot of life change this summer. I actually got married in July, and my wife is finishing her PhD, and we're looking to move in the next year. Part of what allowed me to put all of this together in such a short amount of time was I planned ahead for this change. I had been working in my previous job for the past 3 years, and I made sure that I had 6 months of expenses saved up. I had enough of war chest, so to speak, that if I went out on my own and it didn't work, that I could sustain us to the time where we picked up and moved to another market. So that helped out tremendously. Obviously, having a wife who is supportive of my ambition to pursue business my way is tremendously helpful, and support from family and friends. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to do it without the network behind me. She's in academia, my wife is in academia, and one of the things that she has noted now that I've gone back to consulting is you work longer hours and you work harder than you ever did when you worked for someone else. And the fact that she works similar long hours on her experiments and her writing, it helps. She sympathizes, she understands with what I'm doing, and that really creates a compatible situation and a really strong bond between us. It is very early in the process, but it's something that I've consulted off and on for the past 15 years. There are periods of time where I'll work independently for 2 years and then find an opportunity to work with a great company, and I'll work with them for a few years and then be ready to go out and try a new idea or try building a new product. But I think that one of the biggest things that drives me is that I don't want to be able to look back in 5-10 years time and have regret about not taking the chances. So that's a strong motivation that I have, not to waste time, which is much more valuable than money.